What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is why you hate living in Russia or coming to Russia in 2025. Guys, I've already made a video like this in the past, but today with Trump winning the election, hopefully some of these things are going to change. With 2025 just kicking off, I'm sure a lot of you would like to come to Russia, and this video is for you. Hopefully these points I'm about to give you guys will make you guys rethink your decision and ask yourself the question, do I really want to go to Russia? So if that's why you're here, let's dive right into this video. So the first reason why I think you're going to hate coming to Russia in 2025 is the language barrier. I think this is pretty much very obvious. Why do I say so? In Russia, they don't speak English as the first language. So why is this very important? That's because a lot of people have been asking me in my DMs, oh, you want to come to Russia? What are the job opportunities like in Russia? This, that. Guys, if you're going to any country where the first language is not English, guys, the first thing you should have in mind is plan to learn the language. You must learn the language. You can't survive in Russia if you don't learn the language. You can't have a good life in Russia if you don't learn the language, especially if you plan to work with the Russians here. If you want to go to Finland, if you want to go to Poland, I don't know what languages they speak there, maybe Polish in Poland, but I don't know about Finnish or Finnish. Yeah. If you want to go to any country where they don't speak English, the first thing you should always do is, how can I learn the language? How can I learn the basic terms? If you're going there to study and your university offers that language as a course, try to learn it. Try to learn the language and take it seriously, because coming to Russia and you don't have any hope of wanting to learn the language, guys, you're setting yourself up for failure. I have a basic understanding of the Russian language. I can understand the Russian language to an extent. I can speak the Russian language to an extent, and that's how I've been surviving, with the help of the Russian language. I also realized that with a lot of documentation I've been doing here in Russia, the Russians have been eager to help me the most when they realized that I could speak their language. Guys, if you want to cheat, if you want to have a cheat code, having a smooth time in Russia, guys, learn the language. The second why I think you're going to hate coming or living in Russia is the job market for foreigners. Guys, I have to say this. In Russia, especially if you're a student, especially if you're coming under a student visa, the kinds of jobs you can do is very limited. That is why you must come with skills, because your student visa won't allow you to be able to do some kinds of jobs. You won't be able to work some hours. In my university, for example, they have classes from 8 a.m. up until 6 p.m. When would you have time to work? When would you have time for extra jobs on the side? I mean official jobs. But if you have skills, if you have the most lucrative skills in Russia, guys, you're going to set up yourself for maximum success, taking your earning potential to the next level. And before you ask me, I already have your answer. I have already made a video about the best types of skills you should learn before coming to Russia. I'm going to link it up here, or you can go to my channel and check 10 best side hustles for students in 2025. Watch that video. Write down all the skills I listed in that video. Try to learn them, because once you've mastered the skills, you can come here, be a student. You can do these jobs from your home. You don't have to go to an official employee or submit your special certificate to be like, oh, I want to work as your sales rep or something. Let me give some of the examples. You can become a barber. You can become a videographer like me. Guys, I make videos for companies here in Russia. I don't need to be officially employed, as I am a freelancer. All I need to do is just to buy my camera, use my skills, use my brain, use my computer, and make my money. So I don't need to actually slave myself or have to work hours on end or just be worried every day about how to make money, because these skills have somewhat opened the door for me. So guys, please go and check out that video to see the 10 best side hustles for students or foreigners that plan to come to Russia in 2025. The third is the bureaucracy and paperwork. Oh my goodness. If you've been to the Russian embassy, that is just the tip of the iceberg for what you will experience when you come to the Russian Federation. Oh my goodness. Ужас, боже мой. Guys, it is a nightmare, and I'm not even saying it like in a bad way, like it's just so stressful, because the amount of documentation you have to do just because you're a foreigner. Oh my god. Guys, okay, the other day I applied for my PR. Now, if you don't know, I'm a permanent resident of the Russian Federation, and in 5 years I'll be eligible to get my Russian passport. Let's see what the future holds. Anyways, I digress. Before I could get this document alone, the amount of tests I had to do, medical tests, this test, oh my god, documents from the Nigerian embassy in Moscow, this document, that document. I had to go to narcologist. Oh my god, the tests never end, the documentation never ends. When I was a student in medical school, we used to do a medical checkup every single year. We'll do this document, that document, medical checkup, HIV test, visa test. Oh my god, guys, I can begin to list test upon test upon test upon test. It never ends. Of course, I think it's the same thing if you're a student or an international student anywhere in the world. But guys, in Russia, I just feel like, oh my god, they're trying to kill us. Okay, obviously I'm just joking right now, but it's a lot. And if you're that kind of person that likes soft life, or I'm just a girl, or I'm just this chill guy, I'm just a soft guy, you have to wise up when you're coming to Russia. If you're going to come to Russia, despite all these things I'm going to list for you guys, wise up. Always ask questions. Don't be a lone wolf. Whenever you see anything that's documentation, guys, more often than not, documentation is the reason why a lot of students get into trouble. Not even school fees. You can pay your school fees for 6 years, for 4 years, but if you miss one document, if you don't ask questions, you can get into trouble. So guys, the amount of bureaucracy here is crazy. Oh my god, guys, I don't know. Like, you can go and check out my vlog where I applied for my Russian PR. That vlog was was a story to say the least. Just check it out to see the roller coaster of emotions that I had to go through just to get my Russian PR. The fourth is the cultural shocks. Cultural shocks. There are some things that shocked me when I started to get Russian friends, guys. One thing that was very different in Russia that I didn't experience in Nigeria was removing your shoes when you're entering the class, entering someone's house or something. I mean, it's not like, obviously, it's not like we're dirty in my house in Nigeria, but it only made sense after I started living in Russia. I was like, I'm going to adopt this in my future. Like, before you get into my house, you have to take off your shoes because it only makes sense, right? So in Russia, whenever you're having class, I went to medical school. For you guys I don't know, I'm a medical doctor now. All glory belongs to God. Whenever we're having classes, we must take off our shoes. You never wear the same shoes you wear on the street into the house. If you're going to go and visit a Russian friend, a Russian family, you take off your shoes and go with your socks or your barefoot. Cleanliness is the top most priority, and it just makes sense that why would you wear the same shoe you used to step on the street in somebody's house? I mean, it makes sense. I mean, before I never thought about it like this, but it actually makes sense, and it's something I've grown to love and I've adopted myself in my life moving forward. Another thing also is that in Russia, guys, if you're planning to date a Russian girl or you have a Russian friend or something that is alive, guys, don't make this mistake of giving them an even number of flowers. You can have a clean heart, you can have a good heart and be like, oh, my Russian friend, take these 2 flowers, take these 4 flowers, take these 6 flowers. Guys, in Russia, giving people even number of flowers is for the dead. It's for the dead. It's not for alive people. It's only for burials that they take even number of flowers to. If you want to wish anybody that's close to you that is a Russian good wishes in Russia through flowers, guys, buy them odd number of flowers. You have to buy 3 flowers, 7 flowers, 9 flowers, not 10, not even numbers. Don't make that mistake, or else you're going to receive a shout of a lifetime, because guys will be like, oh, are you wishing bad for me? But you want to wish on it. Guys, it is hard to integrate into the Russian community. I'm sure a lot of you foreigners that come to Russia, you will want to make friends with Russians, guys. Like I said, the first tip, please learn the language, or just be eager to learn the language. Once Russians see that you're eager to learn their language, I'm sure they don't mind bringing you to their team to be friends with them. Don't just go there and be like, no willingness to learn the language. You just want to speak in English. You want to force them to speak English with you. That's the only way to integrate Russians. Unless you want to come to, like for me now, my goal when I came to Russia, I didn't want to come to Nigeria in Russia. Like, of course, I love the Nigerian family here, but I didn't want to come to Russia and just be only Nigerians. My goal to come to Russia was to actually make friends with Russians and other people I like. So I knew that sometime in my life I will have to learn the Russian language, and I started learning the Russian language. Now today I have a number of Russian friends, and I'm grateful to God that I took my Russian learning quite serious. Although I'm not where I want to be, it's actually good for someone that just started learning 2 years ago. And yeah, another thing I want to tell you guys that Russians smoke a lot. They smoke a lot of cigarettes. Some of you leave your countries and come to Russia and start judging Russians. Oh, you guys are smoking. Guys, I understand in a lot of African countries, for example, smoking is seen as a sin, it's like a bad thing. But guys, this is a cold country. Like winter is literally from September. Like it begins to get cold from September up until June, up until April. That's how cold this country is. So despite the fact that some of you might be like, oh, smoking is a sin, is it this, that, it's more of like a culture to them. The same way some things that in your culture might not make sense to Russians, in the same way like smoking in Russia might not make sense to you. So don't come here and be like, oh, I'm judging this guy for smoking. I mean, it's not like I smoke, it's not like I support smoking, but it's just something you should have in mind, that you can't come here and be judging people for just because they smoke, or oh, look at him, he's smoking, he's a smoker, the Russian friend is a smoker, because it's a norm, it's a normal thing here. Of course, it's bad for your health, but unfortunately, it's a cold country, and that's what they use to alleviate their cold sometimes. Of course, they drink tea sometimes, and that's what they use to alleviate their stress too. So I mean, it is what it is. It's a country. I can't say anything more about this, which perfectly leads me to the weather struggles. Oh my God, guys, winter is as if every year we are in winter, because summer is just basically 2 months, July and August. Okay, maybe some parts of June, but guys, it's literally so cold almost every single time of the year. I mean, I love the weather in Russia. I love the summer, although sometimes it gets very hot in summer. I also love the winter, but sometimes it gets very cold too. Like some days I don't feel like going out because it's just so cold. It's not very not very nice to go out, because the cold will be breaking your face. There are 4 seasons in Russia: summer, winter, autumn, and spring. In the summer, it's very hot, very очень жарко, очень, what's the word, Sagorat. You're going to be burning in summer. We have the winter. The winter is what we are in right now. It's so cold. Sometimes you stand outside for 10 minutes and you're already your fingers feel like falling off from your body. We have the autumn, which is low-key somewhat like the most beautiful time of the year, because all the leaves become yellow. You see, it just looks very aesthetic, if you will, and just very nice in my opinion. Then we have the spring. The spring is kind of like my least favorite, because it gets very dirty. The rain everywhere just gets dirty. Just, oh my God, I don't feel like I don't really enjoy going out in spring. So just have that in mind. And if you're coming to Russia, please do not buy winter jackets from Africa. if you're coming from Africa. Maybe if you're coming from a European country, or you're coming from UK, Canada, or other countries where they have snow, okay, maybe you can buy your jackets. But don't buy your jacket from Nigeria and say you want to come to Russia with your Nigerian jacket. You will receive Balshoi shock. You'll be received the biggest shock of your lifetime, because Russian weather is not something you play with. You have to come to Russia and get your jackets here, because the ones here are more compliant to the weather. The internet and censorship. Guys, Russia is the most sanctioned country in the whole world with over 20,000 sanctions. I'm sure you've already heard about this by now. If you wanted to come to Russia, I'm sure you hear about the war. You hear about all the war happening in Kursk. Guys, I'm in Kursk. Does it look like there's a war happening? I don't know. But yeah, there's actually a big censorship on the Russian internet. We can't even use YouTube anymore. We have to use VPNs here. I pay for my VPN. That's what allows me to be able to use my VPN on my computer and on my phone. And you might be wondering why I pay for my VPN. That's because, guys, I am a professional content creator. I make videos for YouTube. Since I make videos for YouTube, it's something I have to invest in. It's something I have to pay for from time to time, because, guys, I can't even spend, like, I'm literally making this video to post on YouTube. And before I can post this video on YouTube, I need a good working VPN. All the other free VPNs always have some problems here and there. So I've just decided to stick with the one I pay for. Instagram is blocked. YouTube is blocked. You can't use any payment processor, Stripe, PayPal, Fiverr. You can't use Fiverr.com to get jobs. You can't do anything that is not a Russian-owned site. You can't even use your Russian number for Google Mail anymore. Like, I just discovered that last week. I'm just hoping that with Trump winning the election, I just pray, guys, that 2025 is going to be a better year. I just pray that the two countries fighting comes to a peace treaty and everything just goes back to normal. Because, guys, I will tell you, Russia is a beautiful country. The only reason why I have not left Russia yet is because I'm used to the system. I've been here for 6 years. I spent 6 years of my significant life here, studying here. I've understood the system. But then I came here and first day, there were no sanctions. Everything was okay. It was in my third year that the sanctions came to be, and over time I've somewhat gotten used to it. Some of you might be wondering, oh, why are you still in Russia? Leave Russia if it's like that, if it's this, leave Russia. Guys, it's not that easy to say, but yeah. Because, I mean, for some of us, we somehow found a way to live our life, or to live a good life here in Russia. We've somewhat found a hack on how to go around things here. But if you've not come to Russia before, this is something you should think about. Are you ready for the sanctions? Are you ready for the fact that if you're a freelancer, you won't be able to use Fiverr anymore? You won't be able to work with abroad companies anymore unless you've set up your payment platforms outside of Nigeria. Outside of Russia. My next point is the daily life frustrations. Housing here in Russia, guys, it's very, very hard to get accommodation. For example, nowadays things have skyrocketed. The price of things have gone through the roof. To get a good apartment where you can live comfortably, like a very beautiful apartment, is like 35,000 rubles. That's about $340. Guys, it's so expensive to be a foreigner in Russia. Some landlords be like, they don't rent out their apartments to people that are not citizens of the Russian Federation. Guys, it can get a little bit difficult sometimes. Only if you like have money to an extent that you can enjoy Russia. As for me, I'm very fortunate that the apartment that I lived in 6 years ago when I came to Russia is still the same apartment I'm living in right now. Unfortunately, my landlady is going to be selling off this apartment in 2 years. She gave me 2 more extra years to stay here. Imagine 8 years in one apartment. I'm very grateful for my landlady, because, guys, I don't even know how. Like, I hear people tell me that, oh, their landlady chased them out of their house. Their landlord chased them out of the house. The landlord wants to sell the house. I can't even imagine it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. I am not complaining. I'm just like telling you guys the reality. It's actually hard to be a foreigner. Being a foreigner without money, that's much more harder. These are just things that you should have in mind, because, bro, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I'm just trying to, like, there's some things I do in my life. I'm just like, the normal average person can't do this. This is not me trying to blow my trumpet right now. It's just that I've been fortunate enough in my life to be able to work hard, to be able to do some things in my life that I've set up myself financially in a good way to an extent. Now I can eat good food. But sometimes whenever I go to the supermarket, I just see the prices of things. Eggs that used to be how much before in those days? Eggs have skyrocketed. Chicken, meat, everything. The prices of everything are just boom, boom, boom. So you can't even eat good food with 300 rubles nowadays. You have to be spending, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that I spend more than 300 rubles on food. I'm just trying to be realistic that, like, you can't even shop very good food unlike before. The inflation, everything. I understand that inflation is everywhere, of course, but I'm just saying that despite, like, the sanction just basically has affected us, and yeah, life is not the way it used to be before. That being said, life in Russia is not as hard as I'm saying in this video, but I'm in a situation where I've been here for 6 years, so I understand the system. But for you that doesn't understand the system, but for you that want to move to Russia, these are things you should think about. Am I really ready for this? Am I ready to learn a new language? Some of you can't learn a new language. I understand it can be hard. Am I determined to learn the language? Am I determined to mingle with Russian friends, to mingle with Russians? Because that's where the money is at. The money is not in the African community, guys. The money is not in your Malaysian community. The money, if you want to make money in Russia, you have to have Russian friends. That is the truth. Unless you want to be a scammer, then okay, I don't know about you, but I'm talking about guys that want to make the money legitly. You have to be friends with Russians. You have to have your network of Russian high net worth individuals. And to do that, you must learn the language, you must understand the language. Anyways, that's it for this video. I don't want to make this video too boring for you guys. And like I said before, I've already made this video before, like 3 months ago, 2 months ago. You can go check that out here. And if you enjoyed this video, please click here to check out the process on how I applied for my Russian PR, and the process, the ups and the downs, the hurdles, the roller coaster of emotions, on what I had to go through to be able to apply for this PR. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your boy DTP signing out. Subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.